just had to step out just to come through and give us that update this morning. Good morning, Seun. So can you bring us up to speed? What's going on at the moment?
Thank you so much, Chamberlain. Indeed, the sun is rising. And of course, a lot of expectations from the Supreme Court here. It's a big day, if you want to call it the Supreme Court big day, for so many of the states that will be expecting the judgments from the court today. We have quite a number of them. From Lagos has just been pronounced by the Supreme Court. And the breaking news that we have is that the appeal of the Labour Party candidate, Gbadebo Rose Viver, has been struck out by the Supreme Court. And the court has ruled that the appeal of the Labour Party candidate in Lagos lacked merit. He was challenging the candidacy of the Deputy Governor Obafemi Hamzat about whether or not he can contest for the deputy, can be the running mate of Babajide Sanwo-Olu in that election because of his status and his passport, the citizenship of the United States or other country. And so the court struck out, citing different case laws and different positions of the Constitution. And of course, the election of the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has been affirmed by the Supreme Court. It looks like a unanimous decision of the Supreme Court. There is a long list of the decision of the court, and Bauchi State case is up next, and the appearances have now been announced in the court from the parties involved. Of course, we're hoping also to hear pronouncement from the Supreme Court in cases involving Plateau governorship contest, Cross River State, Abia State, Zamfara State, Kano, Bauchi. Of course, Bauchi is up next. Of course, you know that in Kano, Plateau State, these are states that are highly contentious. There's a lot of permutation. In Kano, for example, the incumbent governor has lost at the tribunal, has lost also at the appeal court. But hopefully, whatever the position of the Supreme Court is today, it's going to be very significant. Don't forget, whether or not the governor he can contest the election in Plateau State, there are also a lot of issues regarding the Congress and the position of the party, whether or not they obeyed the High Court ruling ahead of the Congress in the state. These are some of the issues. But how will the Supreme Court rule in this matter, considering the presidential election, considering some of the past cases of our election in Nigeria, the position of INEC guideline, the electoral law, all of these things will be brought to bear, especially the Constitution, which is the ground norm, the mother of all laws in Nigeria. These are all of the indices that the Supreme Court justices will be considering today. It's been 8 of them that sat there today because they're going to be sitting different of the justices are sitting in different panels for some of these states. But this is how it's been. Of course, on the inside, we've seen the governor of Bauchi State, the governor of Zamfara State, the governor of Plateau State, of the APC candidate in Plateau State. We've seen him also present in the courtroom. He is a sober and a reflective mood in the courtroom because that is what you usually see in the Supreme Court. You've got to be courteous. You have to be very well-behaved in front of the justices of the Supreme Court when they are delivering their judgment. That has been it so far. Some of the updates coming from the Supreme Court. It's going to be a long day considering about 8 to 9 cases. Wow. Don't forget, the justices, the lead judge today was saying that one thing that is very important is that because of the long cases and the long list of the cases that are going to be determined today, the bench should abridge their judgment, but the larger portion of or the real judgment will be passed on to the parties involved later so that this can be dealt with. Also, we understand that conferences on some of the governorship cases also will be held today, and other cases that are not, in fact, election cases will also be entertained by the Supreme Court. So it's a very long day for the bench and the bar today at the Supreme Court. Nigeria's apex court.
You know, Seun, the last time, nobody warned me. So I went there bullish when it was time for the presidential election. But I still managed to come out bullish all the same, not bearish. But, you know, thinking about how it was going to go today, so many were wondering what will happen. Would it be that long? And how will they go? Because, yes, they will affirm some. And if they go ahead for cases like Kano, for instance, and Plateau, so the permutation is, so what? If they go ahead and affirm, would they now explain? But you've spoken about how they're going to abridge the judgment. So what's the thinking? Is that what will people be right to expect that is the way it might go?
Well, today, Chamberlain, one thing I can assure you is that if there are 8 or 9 cases before the Supreme Court today to be determined, it's taking almost an hour to determine the case in Lagos. Don't forget that some of the justices are still, or our courts in Nigeria, they still make their records in longhand. It means that even in the appearances will take about 10 to 15 minutes. The lead lawyers in the parties would stand up and make their appearances and introduce their colleagues. And the defendant in the case also will stand up and do the same. The appearances will take about 10 to 15 minutes. The lead judge, the justice, will deliver the judgment. And if there are dissenting judgments, that will be taken. It takes an average of 20 to 30 minutes in the Lagos case for the lead judge to deliver the judgment, and all the other justices in that matter and that panel just affirmed in their own ways. So it could be different in some cases, especially in cases like Plateau, Kano, that are contentious, and there possibly could be dissenting positions of the justices of the Supreme Court on this matter. But okay, so if there are 8 cases, for example, Chamberlain, and let's assume 1 hour for each case, that is a whopping 8 hours in the minimum. So if anybody had come here bullish, you have to calm down, because it's going to be a long day. And if on the cost list by the Supreme Court today, this is what they said they will entertain, definitely they'll try to. Because also, one thing that is important is that time is of the essence. Yeah. Because the window as prescribed by law is also very critical. This is a legal matter, and the courts are also very cautious of this kind of situation. Don't forget, if there is any upset, is any governor that is being removed today, is probably going to change the scenario of our governorship election, the calendar of our governorship election in Nigeria, because if any governor is removed, if there is any upset happens today in the court, it means that the person that has been pronounced today will start his own term afresh. It's just after 6 months when one person has been in office. So this is a possible scenario, give and take, Chamberlain.
Very well said indeed. Brilliant, Seun. So thank you very much indeed. So we'll keep tabs with you both on the news hour to get more updates as it develops, because from the look of things, we're just barely starting. So thank you, Seun, and well done for your reporting.